Form has not been fantastic as of late for Monterey Bay or San Antonio, but a chance tonight for one of the two to get back on track in this match presented by Montage Health. Happy to have you with us from Cardinale Stadium in Seaside, California, with the former Colombian international Chelsea Cabarcas. I'm Joe Malfa. A look at the standings here shows you how dire this game is for both teams. Chelsea Monterey have been sinking. San Antonio, despite their recent struggles, still in fourth position.
I mean, Monterey are sitting in a difficult 10th place right now, and we've seen flashes of just how good they are, but the issue has been consistency for them. They're not out of the race by any means, but there's still plenty of work ahead. Meanwhile, San Antonio have climbed into that fourth place, showing kind of balance and a steady performance, making them one of the top contenders this season, although not sure what's going on with them lately because they haven't really won a match.
Monterey Bay recently won 6-1 over their last 8.
But we need more.
Describe the flair of Santiago Patino for sure. We could see him later on this evening. These teams met all the way back in March, a 1-0 win for San Antonio, who have dominated 5-0-1 all time against Monterey Bay. It's a big one in the Western Conference. It's Monterey Bay and San Antonio next on Golazo Network.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Here at Cardinale Stadium, ready to get things going in Seaside, California. The home side, Monterey Bay, sends out this 11 for head coach Jordan Stewart.
They're at home, which gives them an edge, but they come into this one without a win in their last 5 matches, without a clean sheet in 12. That means performance has to step up here. Their lineup is in a 4-2-3-1 with Guzman playing a key role in the back line, often looking to build out from the back. Expect them to look for those balls over the top for Ivanovic, while Klein and Rebollar provide those supporting connections.
On the other side for San Antonio, a lot of rotation for Carlos Llamoso after their midweek game in Jägermeister Cup. This lineup looks nothing like it's recently looked for San Antonio.
You said it, a lot of changes. Usually fullbacks will look to push high and attack the flanks when in possession, but I'm assuming because they had a midweek game, they're going to look to stay compact. Omar has really started to find form lately, showing that kind of consistency you want to see. Walker tends to drop a little deeper at times to serve as that creative link between the defensive and the attacking lines, but he's also not afraid to drive forward and take his chances.
Some of the key changes you see in goal: Daniel Nemani on the bench. Richard Sanchez, their main keeper, is available. You have 2 16-year-olds in the lineup with Landry Walker and Leo Urrutia. So this is certainly a rotation for San Antonio. Still some linchpin pieces in there. You saw Juan Agudelo a moment ago. He's been their veteran leader the last couple of years. Only 1 goal, though, to show for it this season, as San Antonio go right to left in the white, Monterey Bay left to right in the blue. The referee in charge this evening, Eligio Areguin, waiting for him to send us on our way on a chilly evening in Seaside. Starting to get closer to the fall, and away we go. Oh, whoa, hold on. We'll do it again. A little bit of a false start there, trying to pressure on the kickoff from Monterey Bay. Reset your watches, back to 0. There's the motion from Areguin to restart the clock as well. They're just so excited to get out there and go. Ivanovic just couldn't wait. Let's see if he waits this time. They're just waiting to reset the clock officially on the scoreboard. And Areguin just warning Ivanovic not to do that again. And he held his water this time. A clean start, and we're finally underway at Cardinale Stadium. Glad to have you with us on Golazo Network with Chelsea Cabarcas. I'm Joe Malfa.
It's going to be crucial the first 5-10 minutes to see which team really sets the tempo of the game. They want to dictate where the game is going to go. They want to play 1-touch, 2-touch, let the ball do the movement, win those first and second balls, be aggressive. And that's the team that's most likely going to win.
And to your point, 5-1-2 this season, San Antonio, when they score first. Coming on the road here, if they can find that goal, especially early, bodes well. Mitch Tainter.
It's incredible how close everyone in the Western standings is. Anything can change at whatever given moment. I mean, you had the Lexington side. They were in 10th place last week. They moved up to 7th. And now they moved up even higher after their last victory earlier.
And dramatic when it was over Oakland, scoring 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. You take Monterey Bay, for example, the caveat being this is already Monterey Bay's 22nd game, and most all teams have 2 or 3 games in hand on them. But in the live table, with the draw that's reflected right now in this 0-0 scoreline, they moved to within 1 point of the playoff line. For as poor as things have been lately, it is still that tight. And they're still buoyed by a lot of those early wins that they earned this season under Jordan Stewart. They came flying out of the gates. They were top 2, top 3 in the West for the first month and a half, and then it just all went south from there.
Usually it's like that. When you start a season hot, it really comes down to the team's maturity on how they can maintain that rhythm throughout the season.
San Antonio with a win tonight, pending results elsewhere, could ascend to 2nd. They were for a time in 1st, then they hit this recent snag. And their last win came back on July 12th. It feels a long time ago for a team that's only 0-2-1 since then. They had their league-mandated mental health break in there. The scheduling also had Jägermeister Cup mixed in. So that's why they're only 0-2-1, even though they haven't won in well over a month now. That break, though, coming in some ways at a good time for San Antonio, as they've had a laundry list of injuries to overcome and navigate. If you take a look at the injury report brought to you by ROL&M local injury attorneys. So the graphic only has room for the 2 on San Antonio's side, but there is a whole laundry list of players unavailable for this game. Paredes, Osorio, Nelson Flores Blanco, Luke Hawkinson, Abdi Salim, Alex Cronali. They're also holding out Jorge Hernandez tonight, who is their key piece in the midfield. And the guy that makes this team go, Hernandez, and all of it, again, really goes back to that midweek game they just played in the Jägermeister Cup and having to navigate what's been a congested stretch here after they had that break.
And that's how you have to maintain and control bodies, right? And it's difficult for a coach. That's when they're put through that test, knowing which players to use, which players to rest. You have to learn which players are able to perform under high stress.
San Antonio controlling the early portions of this one. Medranda gets it back, slips it through, he goes down. This is Landry Walker, one of the 2 16-year-olds in this 11 for San Antonio tonight, and the other Leo Urrutia. Medranda down holding his face.
It's great exposure for a 16-year-old to be playing in a league like this against grown men. It tests them and it helps them grow as players, getting that confidence in. Seems like they just ran into each other because they weren't looking, they were just focused onto the ball. You can see that the San Antonio side is playing with composure. They're calm, they're confident on the ball. I expected them to play a little bit more holding because of the midweek game, but you can see that they're actually letting out their flanks, their fullbacks, they're spreading out wide, they're giving the team depth.
The expectation tonight, too, would be for San Antonio to own the lion's share of the possession and the territory controlled in this one. So it's a matter of Monterey Bay being able to cash in all the moments that do come by.
But these are the moments that can surprise you. Monterey can come in and score 2 goals. This is when the game of soccer is very unpredictable.
You never know what to expect.
Never know what to expect.
Especially the way you laid out the Western Conference with how tight everything is.
Exactly.
These teams have just cannibalized each other all season long. What's up is down, what's down is up, and has flipped multiple times as the year's gone along. Switched out down that left side, but the wind carried it a bit adrift. Galloway out wide. Gadiri. Starts now for Sami Gadiri in his return back to the United States after spending some time in Algeria, making his way back to USL. Part of Monterey Bay trying to beef up this roster as the year's gone along, as they hit that downswing. Soyberg drops it back. It's the one they want to get going again. Their leading scorer with 5, Soyberg.
What I'm really liking about the San Antonio side defensively is that tactically, they're standing and they're dictating where they want the ball to go. And they're playing with presence on that field. They know exactly where they want to force the play, to control, to get Monterey to go back into their half. And it's done by small little movements. 2 movements to the left by the first defender dictates where the second defender is going to move, and then it just on foremost. Got tongue-tied there.
For two teams that have struggled so mightily coming in, what tends to be the separator as far as which of these two teams is able to get on track on a night like this?
It's really who sets the tempo and who is a lot more aggressive with that first, second ball. I always say that. You can be the more technical team, but if you're not strong defensively, you're not winning those 50-50 balls, that's going to be a problem.
San Antonio, again, 0-2-1 in their last three. Part of a larger rut of 2-2-1 with losses in Jägermeister Cup mixed in. Monterey Bay 0-3-1 in their last four. It's part of a larger stretch of 1-6-1 in the last 8. Neither of these teams have won since early July. San Antonio on the 12th against Tampa Bay. Monterey Bay on the 11th against Orange County. 62 degrees and breezy here tonight. Expectation is for some precipitation as the night goes along and the marine layer sets in.
Perfect soccer weather.
Until it starts raining.
Until it
and
starts
then on
raining.
this slick turf, things start getting
Well,
away from you.
actually, it's fun to play in the rain.
It is fun.
The ball moves quicker, it tests your
You can go into a slide
your
tackle from about 10
You can
yards
go
out.
into those slide tackles, those perfect slide tackles.
Medranda. Urrutia, again, trusting two 16-year-olds in the midfield tonight, coming up to their academy, San Antonio. Urrutia is making his second straight start after he just last game made his USL Championship debut. Landry Walker making his first start. Made 3 appearances, been a part of the US U15 national setup. Pacheco wrestled off the ball, got right back to his feet, and he commits the foul in the end, barreling through Nico Gordon. Pacheco, 2 goals and an assist this season, his second season in the USL Championship, spent last year with Tulsa. 10 minutes come and gone, still no shots taken by either side. Early feeling out process, Agudelo lays it off.
Game seems a bit static and neither team is finding that space in the final third or their forward to check in for those deep balls. San Antonio is doing a great job switching the point of attack and moving the ball around the back and not forcing the play. But there has to be a certain moment where you know that you have to go forward.
Agudelo flicking it on, looking for Pacheco, gets it back. Agudelo left it for Walker, couldn't quite get to it. And Walker commits the foul. Starting to get into the feet more of Juan Agudelo, letting him use that body in the hold-up play. Playing off of him. More of that bodes well for San Antonio. Nico Campuzano gets it back into play. He's made more starts this season for Monterey Bay than the last 3 seasons combined as he's bounced around. MLS Next Pro, Cincinnati, New England. Last year in League One with Lexington. This year over to Monterey Bay. Terrific collegiate career at Pittsburgh. A lot of contact there. Pacheco fouled. Joel Garcia.
That's where you can see the experience with Pacheco. He gets those fouls. He puts his body in situations where he knows he's going to get fouled so that they can have that call.
Suwahi. Medranda. Stagnant, the word you used before. Through 13 minutes, there's only been one touch in either 18-yard box. This game right now living in the middle third of the field, and another free kick on the way though for Monterey Bay, and Agudelo comes over. A bit upset, feeling there wasn't really much in this.
Those 50-50 balls, and although I don't think that was necessarily a foul, he came in from behind.
Some other results from the Western Conference going on right now. FC Tulsa up 1-0 in the 82nd minute on Orange County, who are also down a man, Orange County. El Paso up 1-0 on Sacramento. Earlier we saw Louisville City and New Mexico draw 0-0. Lexington a 2-1 win over Oakland. Your Western Conference results so far this evening. Still to come, Las Vegas hosting North Carolina. That kicks off in about 10 minutes. Same goes for Phoenix hosting Colorado Springs at 10:30. Eastern time, that is. Those of you that were tracking Detroit City and Tampa Bay Rowdies here on Golazo Network, that game has resumed after its delay. Detroit City up 2-0 on Tampa Bay. 10 minutes to go there still.
You can see the frustration of San Antonio's back line when they have the ball at their feet. They're being patient, but they can't find an outlet to get out of the back and penetrate that ball into the final third. They need that creative outlet that turns, that isn't scared to take on those players 1v1s or even receive the ball at a diagonal so that they can face forward and look for that third pass.
Dangerous there, throwing it back. Agudelo read it well. All the way back to Campuzano. He finally blasted long, running out of patience after San Antonio had every short ball covered there.
One thing that I have noticed about Campuzano is that he's a goalkeeper that really comes off his line. He has that confidence, and it's incredible that his goalkeeper coach or even the coaching staff aren't worried about that, because a team can just easily chip a ball over in a quick counterattack in that transition.
Part of how they possess, but that is the risk you run if you turn it over quickly. Looking long here as he retreats back to his goal line. He was still up at the edge of the area. USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. You can go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Kadiri looking long. And the offside flag came up. Actually, I believe the free kick goes Monterey Bay's way. The assistant referee on the near side had raised his flag, but he did so only to alert the referee to turn around and look at what the other assistant referee had in store for him, which was a foul spotted as the ball was released. So a free kick for Monterey Bay.
What's really concerning is that we're 15, 16 minutes in. There has been not one shot on goal from either team. And that just really shows that they both have issues getting forward, taking those chances on that final third, that creative outlet.
And not only that, There's only, again, still been one touch inside either 18-yard box. Belongs to San Antonio. This one whipped in. Out of all that, finally something, a corner for Monterey Bay. A bagel corner kick. A night like this where nothing is coming easy, especially through 18 minutes for these two teams. Set pieces become crucial. Here's the first. Araguin coming in for a conversation. Calling over Luke Ivanovic and Diogo Pacheco.
This is a crucial moment for Monterrey's forwards. Maybe check out of the box and run into that cross.
Revelar looking back post. Not a bad service. Into a dangerous spot, and we'll get another bagel corner kick out of this, but from the opposite side.
Great corner from Regojar.
Moby Fair on the service after going short. Shannon Gomez lost it. One back by Monterey Bay. Fair inside. Gadiri back to Fair. Wide for Revelar. Forced toward the corner. Mohamed Omar did not appreciate the juggle at the end of that. It is out for another bagel corner kick. Soyberg, good service back post, flicked away. Pacheco and Dainter were in the mix. Still alive though for Monterey Bay. Secondary service in. Again headed clear. Not out of the woods yet though, San Antonio. A third ball in. A lot of desperate defending there in the box for San Antonio. First real dangerous flurry for either side.
A lot of volume in that box, and this is when they want to take full advantage. Because San Antonio in this moment, they're chaotic.
Referee stopping play for a possible head injury here as Mitch Tainer's laid out on the turf. Upward collision as he came through.
Balls like that, those divided balls are so dangerous when a goalkeeper comes out. I think that's every forward's fear, that the goalkeeper's just going to come out and punch your head.
I think it was actually his own teammate.
Exactly.
Mitch
That's why
Tainer in it with that collided with Imani.
it's so important. I always tell players, go up with your arms up to go ahead and cover that space around you.
Provides a natural break in the action here for the coaches to have some words with their players. Some have gone over to their respective benches, taking stock of the first half of this first half, which has seen no shots either way. Possession 53-47, so just about down the middle. Final third entries 20-8 in favor of Monterey Bay, but touches in the 18 have been few and far between. This has so far looked like two teams that are stuck in a rut and just finding basically everything more difficult than it had been at an earlier point of the season. Have to go way back further for when things were clicking for Monterey Bay. First month and a half. For San Antonio, they had a nice spell June into July. Then they slowed things down a bit.
It's a perfect time to regroup and see what they were doing correctly in the beginning of the season. Maybe do more of that, or bring in players that can finish.
Well, Kelpie's still having a good time, regardless of what's going on out on the field. And again, you mentioned bring players in who can maybe get the job done. That's again what San Antonio did. We could see him later on. Santiago Patiño. It's his third stint now with the club. He was with them 21 and 22. And then 23, briefly into the preseason in 24 before he went on to Vietnam and Sudan. 39 appearances, 18 goals, MVP of the 2022 title game. Be a massive difference maker. Excited to see what he can do playing with Jorge Hernandez again in the midfield. Once Hernandez is back fit, ready to go, unavailable today.
Something that has worked for San Antonio in the past is attacking their flanks. When they have Neville in there, he's been attacking the lines and crossing those beautiful balls to that second post. And that's what's really brought them their success. Because through the middle, they don't really have that creative outlet, really, that is willing to take charge and control of the game, turn past those balls. They're really strong in the flanks.
Given away here by San Antonio. Monterey Bay unable to turn it around and capitalize. Free kick coming out now for San Antonio. You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Nice job splitting through there. Mohamed Omar brought down. Finally going to see the first card of this match. Adrian Revelar into the book.
Smart move by Rebollar. He knew he wasn't going to get there, so he had to pull a shirt or something in order for him to get behind the ball. Clever call, clever move. Not great sportsmanship, but
might be worth
good
the
soccer
yellow.
IQ. It's worth the yellow.
Especially in a game that has been so tight between these two teams. The last thing you want is a moment in transition like that for your opponent. Sometimes the yellow worth it, but you just have to make sure you don't compound it and put your team down a man. Free kick on the way for San Antonio, and Kenneth Nico Gordon unhappy in the mix of things. Still looking for that first shot in this one. Long from Suwahi. Dealt with by Monterey Bay. Physicality is starting to pick up, and maybe some of that frustration of neither side really getting anything going in the attack is starting to spill over into some of these silly and physical plays.
You're exactly right. This is when the
dangerous one there too, and a quick yellow right out of that.
You're exactly right. This is when the game is going to start getting physical, and when players need to mature a little bit, because getting those unnecessary yellows isn't a good call, nor look.
It's Peron who picks it up.
especially when you're 27 minutes into the first half.
Henry Walker chasing. There's nothing coming easy. Even what should be a simple ball out wide to Joel Garcia. Bobby Fair having trouble with it, throwing it back. Agudelo pressuring again. It's all the way back to Campuzano. Campuzano pressured. Clears it long. Struggling to really get anything going. Whether possessing at the back, whether going direct. It's really been essentially the last 2 months for Monterey Bay, encapsulated here in this first half. San Antonio missing a handful of key guys out there tonight. Part of it injury, part of it precaution by design with their congested schedule here in the Jägermeister Cup game they had this past midweek.
I mean, this game right now, it just feels a bit flat. It feels as if both teams are tired. There's too much reacting and not enough initiative. They're not moving for each other. I mean, I see that Monterey is trying, but they're just not in sync. Nor is San Antonio. They're sync in the back line. They keep swinging the ball around from left to right, from right to left, but they can't get past their midfield. And that's pretty concerning for a team that is sitting in 4th place and is considered to be one of the top contenders. If I were to see this team right now and I didn't know the standings, I would automatically think they were in 8th, 9th place.
For sure, and that's why the context is important as far as the players missing tonight for San Antonio. But still, a team as deep as they are, you expect a little bit more on nights like this when some players might not be available.
The energy has dipped, and this is when games become extremely dangerous because players are reactive. They're getting to balls late, so that means injuries are going to happen. Slide tackles, shirt pulling.
You see this in games where maybe a team is down by a couple of goals and the frustration from the losing team sets in, but it's rare to see both teams frustrated on a night like this. But that's the case for these two teams, who again, neither have experienced a win in over a month. Nothing has worked for either side through 30 minutes. It's that rare instance when both teams are just equally frustrated, and it's spilling over into moments of sloppiness, moments of lapses in judgment with the yellows that we've now seen. And the longer it goes, all it takes is just one fatal mistake, and somebody's going to be leaving this one happy tonight. And some team in an even worse position than they were coming into the night. The more desperate of these teams still remember is Monterey Bay. They came into the night down near the bottom of the Western Conference standings, and the biggest thing to remember is they've played more games than anybody else. They're on game 22 here tonight. The other teams around them below the playoff line, Vegas 21 games, Oakland 20, Colorado Springs 20. So on a points per game basis, Monterey Bay are at the bottom of the heap right now. And this actually just updated in the last 30 seconds. It should actually have Colorado Springs on 25, Monterey Bay on 24, because there was a kickoff in that game, and it's now underway. So that just shows you how tight life is right now in the Western Conference, where on a second-to-second basis, things change.
And I will say that when you play so many games with high volume and high intensity, bodies do start to fatigue, but this is when strategy really comes in with your subs. Having a deep bench that you can go ahead and rotate players, and they all bring the exact same to what the starting lineup is bringing. What they really need right now is for someone to just take lead on both teams. maybe even a center back. Push up your line aggressively so that the rest of the team can get up. The more compact the team, the easier it is to move the ball around because you have open spaces. You have that player that's open. 1, 2 touches. I always say that's the perfect way to gain the confidence.
Going direct in this one, Monterey Bay. There's no signal from either official. Now there is a throw coming for San Antonio. Final elsewhere in the Eastern Conference that you saw leading into this game on Golazo Network. Detroit City a 2-0 victory over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Early goal elsewhere in one of the recently kicked off games. Just 5 minutes ago it kicked off. North Carolina on the road against Vegas. North Carolina already up 1-0 on a goal that came 3 minutes in. 78th minute, El Paso up 1-0 on Sacramento. And FC Tulsa went final, the 1-0 win at home over Orange County, so they continue their push further atop the tippy top on the Western Conference standings, now on 42 points. Second place, Sacramento on 31. Starting to run away with it a bit in the Western Conference, FC Tulsa. Sacramento do have a game in hand, as do El Paso. Both those teams on 31 points through 20 matches, so it could be a gap that closes to 8 if either of those teams win their game in hand, but still, 9 games to go, 8-point lead for FC Tulsa. It is their first position in the Western Conference to fumble. Very comfortable lead with time really slipping away, and the teams chasing them. Starting to look like the Western Conference will run through Tulsa.
Both teams need more movement off the ball. It's as if they're just making pointless runs at this moment.
The frustrating thing about this first half, and I think it goes for both teams, Chelsea, I don't think there's anything you can point to that either side has done well. Not even a little silver lining to take from this first half to this point from either side.
Well, I will say that San Antonio has done a decent job defending their tactical shape. Not great, but better. Better. Better in the sense of they're a bit more compact and they dictate where they want the ball to go. Now the problem is that when they do regain possession, they don't know what to do with the ball because there's no creativity.
Still no shots. Still 1 touch in the opposing 18-yard box for both teams. The one thing that is starting to fill up now on the stat sheet is the yellow cards. That's 1 for Joel Garcia. He joins Adrian Rebelar in the book on the Monterey Bay side. Lucio Beron has a yellow for San Antonio. It was just a little tug of the jersey. The yellow, as you saw the referee come in and start counting up, it was just for persistent infringement against Garcia. His 3rd foul already in this one.
Bit of a tug of the jersey, but this is where Garcia had to be a bit more proactive, get into that defensive shape. You already have to dictate and predict that that ball is going to go over your head. Start taking those steps back.
Remy Cabral has given Phoenix a lead in the 6th minute, 1-0 over Colorado Springs. And that goal actually does slide Monterey Bay back from 10th up to 9th. Well, that's the nature of things, and will continue to be. Medranda. Even on a set piece in a moment like that, just squandered by San Antonio. They do have plenty of big targets in moments like that, but unable to hit any of them on the service. Medranda. Mitch Tainter. All-League first team defender of the year in 22, and San Antonio won the title. This team is going to make a run. And again, understanding that what they're showing through 37 minutes tonight is not representative of full strength San Antonio. They're going to make a run come playoff time. Mitch Tainer on that back line is going to be a big reason why again. Hasn't been the healthiest the last couple of years, but has been a mainstay again finally this year. Gordon gave it away. Walker intercepts. Agudelo running with him. Agudelo. I think there's your encapsulation in the first half. A sloppy play out of the back by Monterey Bay. Could have easily been a 2-on-2 or 2-on-1 if they hurried for San Antonio, and it amounted to not even a shot being taken, as we still sit here without a shot being recorded by either side in the 39th minute. There's your first half in a nutshell.
This could have been a perfect opportunity to take on the defender. 1v1, take a shot. Just give me a shot on goal, just one.
Not even a shot on goal, just a shot.
38 minutes in, please give me something.
Just a shot. It's been that night. Free kick though for Monterey Bay, so perhaps the set piece is starting to rise. Last time they had a free kick from around here, they went short. Nothing came of it. Perhaps this time they do go more direct. They do give it a shot. Flipped in by Soyberg. Again, it's San Antonio, the first to it in the air.
A decent ball by Soberg. I mean, I would have liked to see it go over the back line. A little bit more power on that ball. There isn't any sense of urgency from either team, and I know I keep saying this, but I really hope that this, during halftime, both coaches go into that locker room and give them a talk.
Gordon. Gadiri. Here's Soyberg, pocket of space. Crowd imploring him to shoot. He ignores, goes back. Guzman. Won't be fair. Revelar nudged down by Agudelo. Pacheco picks up his head, sees the space, takes it. There is no support, though, with him right now. He's going at it alone, and he runs right into Gordon and commits the foul. That's a final warning for Pacheco. He's been involved a couple of times now. That's why you hear Jordan Stewart, the head coach, arguing on the Monterey Bay side. You gave a persistent infringement yellow card a little while ago to Joel Garcia. Why not one here to Diogo Pacheco? But there was that final warning from Areguin. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Here's Rizzo's giving Phoenix a 2-0 lead now. And the early going at home on Colorado Springs. Rizzo, the teenagers, scored last time out against Tampa Bay as well. This one, the only goalless game going on right now. That includes 2 games that kicked off a half an hour after this one. To the end line here for Monterey Bay. Worked back inside by Revelar. Chance here to put one on goal. There's the first shot on goal of the match. 43rd minute. Something.
First shot on goal. Galloway looked up, took that open shot. I would have liked to see a bit more power behind it. Not sure if that was a pass, a shot.
Just seeing something goalward could give Monterey Bay, though, a little bit of confidence. And maybe wake San Antonio up a bit as well. In the 43rd minute, first registered shot of the match. Back to Gordon. Wide for Garcia. Not on the same page as Revelar came in, expecting it to feet. 45th minute, halftime. We're on the brink of it. And both these coaches have a lot to talk about at halftime. Neither of these sides, again, have been in the best form as of late. First 45 minutes haven't exactly colored either in glory, or given much of an indication that tonight is the night that either of these teams snap out of the funk that they've been in. So there will be 4 minutes of added time here at the end of this first half. Now confirmed by the 4th official. Medranda. Gave it away as he cut in field. Turned over here. Could be something for Monterey Bay. Came off the knee, though, of Ivanovic.
Looking at the stats here, I mean, what they do match is the physicality. That's something that I can give to both teams. And my only guess is that both teams are just tired.
Could be part of it. Tired, frustrated because of the recent form. It really has been that perfect storm to give us the first half that we have had. Now, the thing to keep in mind for San Antonio, more so than Monterey Bay, they could impact this game in a drastic way in the second half. We've said it throughout this first half. They have heavily rotated because of that Jägermeister Cup match they had in the midweek. They have regular starters, the likes of Nicky Hernandez, Harvey Neville, Reese Buckmaster, Jake LaCava, and newcomer Santiago Patino, the MVP of that 2022 final. All of those guys available on the bench. You almost wonder if Coach Chamoso will pull the trigger on 1 or 2 of those changes at halftime. Try and spark something immediately to begin the second half. Certainly has the tools at his disposal to provide some drastic shifts in this game. It's a little bit tougher for Monterey Bay. A bench that's a bit shorter. Mael Malongo does have 4 goals. He is available off the bench. Elijah Paul with 4 goals available off the bench.
I do expect for there to be drastic changes in the second half. I expect San Antonio to change their whole lineup and put in their starters. Giving them a rest the first half.
It wouldn't be far-fetched to see 2 changes from both coaches right out of the gates, I think, to begin half number 2. When you see the kind of first half that we have from both teams, at some point, you do need to send that kind of message. It's reserved for special occasions for coaches to make a change or two right out of halftime and not even give it until the hour mark. This feels like one of those nights that's begging for these coaches to make one or two of those changes right out of the gates.
They both need something fresh. They need to change the dynamic. I mean, you have San Antonio who has two 16-year-olds on the field, and that says enough. That just simply means that your team is tired.
Phoenix, Colorado Springs are 16 minutes in. There have already been 3 goals there. 2-1 lead for Phoenix. Colorado Springs just cut into it on a Zach Zandy goal. That game, well, I guess you could say this about all the games, but crucial in the Western Conference playoff chase. Phoenix in the middle of the teams tied on 28 points. Colorado Springs just below the playoff line with a win tonight, could go above it. Headed centrally by Gordon. Comes out edge of the area. Seemed like Galloway wanted to line up the volley, but it was taken instead by Guzman. Now it's worked in, flicked on by Guzman, headed away. Lucio Beron got to it. Of the two sides, Monterey Bay have looked a little bit more promising on some of the services. They've had 3 corners, they've had a few free kicks, they've gotten some crosses in. They have the lone shot of the match. San Antonio is still without one. Now fed in front, slapped away, loose! Saved off the line by Mitch Taylor, helping out his keeper. After what seemed to be a sure goal for Soyberg, he felt it as well as he looked skyward after Taylor got in the way.
They're really trying to get that ball forward, but the thing with Monterey is that they just don't have the forwards. And right here, you have Soderb who had that chance to hit that rebound, hit it with all your power.
Another bagel corner kick now. We saw the pump of the fist from Mitch Taylor, who knew that he saved a sure goal with Namani out of net. Now whipped in from the corner, Namani gets his hands to it. And they won't get to take another corner. Monterey Bay players not happy about that. So the half will end on what could have been a second corner in a row for Monterey Bay with a 0-0 scoreline.
The half ended on a very good note for Monterey. I mean, they were attacking the goal. They had that chance. But now it really just depends on how these two groups are going to go into the locker room, reflect on the first half, because at this level, more shots should be taken on goal.
It's been a struggle for these two teams tonight. Monterey Bay showed maybe toward the end there, but they are coming out the other side of it. The more threatening of the two sides. There was nothing to speak of for San Antonio, but they could make significant changes in this rotated roster. A lot of big guns on the bench. 0-0 through 45. More to come from Cardinale Stadium.
This week on USL All Access, we give you the fastest 30-second preview in USL Championship history. You ready? Loud United in the East, back. Lexington in the West, back. Playoff Patino and San Antonio FC, he's back. Jaeger Cup is back. And pro referees pull back the curtain to talk about their daily routine and how we can outgrow the game alongside them.
It all starts with a spark, an idea.
That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels a process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality.
Your vision,
Our craftsmanship.
One unforgettable legacy.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo oculta.
Ok, ahora vuelvo. Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Service light superior.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
It is mascot night here at Cardinale Stadium. You just saw the otter there. That's the mascot of the local college here. Cal State, Monterey Bay, they are the Otters, and I love that because who doesn't love a good otter? 0-0 through the first 45 minutes. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedules for both of these two teams. It's difficult for Monterey Bay. They have to turn around and play 2 road games against Oakland and Colorado Springs after this one tonight.
It's going to be a lot. I mean, games on the road is when it's tough for teams because it changes your eating, it changes where you're sleeping, your whole dynamic, and those are games that you can't really have control over.
They're going to know, though, pretty quickly between tonight and those next 2 games if there's really any hope left in their season, because Oakland and Colorado Springs are 2 of those teams that are right around them right now in this fight at the playoff line in the Western Conference. So it's going to get late real early for Monterey Bay if they don't find a way to pick up points tonight at home, and if they struggle through those 2 games on the road against the Roots and the Switchbacks. On the other side for San Antonio, coming into this, again, in a little bit of a rut, but you do have some home games coming up. 3 of the next 5 are at home. It's an opportunity for them, the opposite of what you were saying, where it's difficult sometimes to go on the road, changing your habits. They can start getting back into some of the habits that were really helping them earlier in the year and through early July when they were clicking on all cylinders.
Getting back into their habits, being at home, having that environment to play in, it's always a positive. And they have the players to do so. I mean, right now, we're not really seeing a top contender team perform. And my excuse, I mean, their excuse is that they don't have their starters, but also your subs should be playing at the same level as the starters.
Again, for a team that does have championship aspirations here this season, to your point, you need some of those players to step in and step up big, but will we see some of those starters step back in early in this second half? We're going to enjoy the mascot races here in the meantime. It's 0-0 between Monterey Bay and San Antonio. When we return, we'll take a broader look around USL Championship with some news, notes, and scores from around the league.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off it. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
We're here to support the best of the club and the community.
We don't stop chanting, we don't stop drumming,
yelling and screaming and chanting.
We're following wherever, pretty much. That's just the love that we have for our team.
We want to be the loudest people, and we want you to hear where we are at.
People in this town love this team, pack these stands out for every single game.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Take a load off it. Take a load for free.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it. Not thing. And it was kind of everything. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
I wish I could tell you who won the mascot race, but that was the most beautifully chaotic thing that happened, and I genuinely have no idea. But you know who won? We did, because we got to witness that. It's 0-0 through 45 minutes here in Monterey Bay. Let's take a broader look around USL Championship. Oh no, somebody lost a head! Oh no!
That's a head.
Oh no! Well, news and notes brought to you by Best Western around USL Championship. We got the semis coming up in the Jägermeister Cup. It's coming on September the 10th. But in the meantime, 2 big announcements, stadium-related. Groundbreaking finally took place in Sacramento. They'll be ready for the 2027 season, 15,000 capacity. Same number in Pittsburgh as they are expanding Highmark Stadium. That is going to be a beautiful setting there, not only for the games, but for concerts with the skyline in the background, the Pittsburgh skyline over the river. So things are looking great around USL Championship with the venues that are popping up and growing. And in those venues, as we go forward, we're going to see some dramatic games. And we've seen some today already as we take a look at some scores from around USL Championship. The most dramatic of which was that Lexington-Oakland game. You were on the call for that one, Chelsea, and Lexington down 1-0, 2 goals, final 10 minutes, steal all 3 points.
It really shows the grit that Lexington has. I mean, they were in possession most of the match, and Oakland Roots, they scored in the first 6 minutes, but Lexington held their ground. They stayed the course, and they scored late in the game, and look, they ended up winning.
FC Tulsa pick up a big win at home over Orange County. They keep their stranglehold atop the Western Conference standings in a 0-0 draw between Lou City and New Mexico. Don't sleep on that result there. Things have been really a struggle for New Mexico. To go on the road to Louisville and pick up a draw could be something that helps turn things around. While we haven't seen much in our game by way of attack, look at Phoenix and Colorado Springs. With about 15 more minutes to still go in that first half, 3-1 Phoenix.
3-1. Imagine being in that game. A lot of shots on goal.
Unbelievable stuff there. Phoenix coming off of a couple of negative results. Started to look like they were turning things around in their 1-1 draw against Tampa Bay Rowdies, and they've carried that into this one at home against the Switchbacks. Speaking of the Rowdies, they fell 2-0 against Detroit City FC in the match you saw leading into ours here on Golazo Network. Look at the live standings in the Western Conference as every goal basically changes things as we look at them. The good news for Monterey Bay was that 3-1 scoreline with Phoenix over Colorado Springs, because it keeps Monterey Bay right now in 9th place. But look at that. From 10th all the way up to 5th, separated by just 4 points at the moment.
It's incredible how the Western Conference standings, everyone is so close in points. And any given moment, you could just hop up 2 spots.
There's separation at the top, the 11 points between Tulsa and Sacramento, but then there's 11 points from second down to last. It is wild right now in the West, and we are ready to get things going in half number 2. When we return from Cardinale Stadium, nothing after 45 between Monterey Bay and San Antonio. We'll see if they can turn things around in half number 2.
It all starts with a spark, an idea.
That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels a process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality. vision,
Our craftsmanship.
one unforgettable legacy.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high-five strangers guy, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Just about set to begin half number 2 at Cardinale Stadium. Players back out on the field. Let's take you back to the highlights from the first half. We could fast forward almost to the end of that first half. 43rd minute, we finally found the first shot of the match.
I mean, that was a great shot on goal. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, the look was great.
Monterey Bay weren't happy about that. They wanted to take what they felt they earned as another corner, but we were a full minute beyond the stoppage time that was given. Stats, it tells you how that first half went. No shots for San Antonio, 2 for Monterey Bay, both coming in the last couple minutes of that first half.
It's been very flat so far. We've actually seen more fouls than attempts at goal, which tells a story. And at this point, you feel like a set piece or a single moment of quality could be something positive, can change the game.
Either that or a mistake, because there were some moments in that first half, giveaways on the back line where we felt that maybe something would come of it. But with how much these two teams have struggled, even when they were gifted a couple of errant passes out of the back, they still couldn't do anything with it.
I mean, I always say when teams are struggling, it's the perfect time to see personality. It's the perfect time for a player to come out and set that leadership, to take control of the game.
Ready to get things going in half number 2. San Antonio left to right in the white, Monterey Bay right to left in the blue. And away we go. Glad to have you with us on Golazo Network. With Chelsea Cabarcas, I'm Joe Malfa. Seaside, California, Cardinale Stadium on a 60-degree night. Here near the water, it always feels like fall, and we're closing in on fall in the USL Championship. Playoff races heating up as the weather cools down. A big 3 points on the line here in the Western Conference. Well, we wondered toward the end of that first half if these two coaches would make a sub or two right out of the gates in this second half. Just after seeing the way the first half went, it seemed like one of those nights where the coaches would try right from the jump, but no changes at the half. So these two coaches will see maybe next 5-10 minutes how this second half begins and then go from there. Both can really impact this game on the bench. Again, for Monterey Bay, it's Malongo and Paul off the bench with 4 goals each. For San Antonio, a lot more firepower left on the bench. Buckmaster, Neville, Hernandez, LaCava, Patino, all big names that they could come in to impact this game as they rotated tonight after their midweek Jägermeister Cup game.
I think right now for Coach Damosa, it's important to manage bodies, and he's giving players a chance to show what they can offer, right? Because he's resting his starting lineup. And it's really just kind of determining, all right, what is more important for me? The USL Championship or Jägermeister?
Possession was just about 50-50 as well in that first half. Both teams had their ebbs, their flows, their moments on top. San Antonio just didn't do anything with it. The final third entries, maybe the only real area where Monterey Bay had an edge in that first half. 37 final third entries to just 16 from San Antonio. Just shows you that as they did start matriculating that ball forward, Monterey Bay, they were the ones who were a little bit more active in forcing the issue. But here comes San Antonio, starting to flood numbers forward in their own right. Ivanovic brought down. And the yellow coming. It'll go to Alexi Suahi. Good time to remind you of the other yellows from the first half. Lucio Beron for San Antonio. Adrian Rebelar and Joel Garcia for Monterey Bay. So 4 total yellows out there, 2 each way.
That was a clear yellow for Suahi. He pulled the player down. He's tugging his arm. And although I feel like his arm just got caught.
Center back pair of Tainter and Suahi. Really good veteran pairing back there. That'll carry San Antonio, they feel, through the postseason. Intercepted by Medranda. Working out at tight quarters, but given away. Is this a free kick? The referee came in as if he was going to call it, but thought better of it. Said play on. Header on, looking ahead to Urrutia. Just not connecting much right now, San Antonio. Effort at the volley, slice wide. Well, it took 43 minutes in the first half to get our first shot. It only took 4 in this second half. Moby Fair and Monterey Bay picking up where they left off. Third shot of the match. Still nothing for San Antonio.
We're starting to see Monterey a little bit more active in the opponent's in the opponent's half, trying to move the ball around, trying to create those chances.
Taken off the chest by Garcia. Plenty of space here for Soyberg. Pressing into it. Calling it on this left side, Gadiri. It's fed to Klein. Now Gadiri clipping it toward the back post. It was drifting, and for a moment, it looked like Nemani was worried. Gadiri, a wry smile. He thought that that might have just drifted in a bit of luck, but it ends up over the bar.
It's a good look by Gadiri, but luck isn't good enough for me. Being hopeful isn't good enough. Have to be a bit more intentional.
Although that would have been an appropriate way for the first goal in this game to be scored on an accidental cross that drifted in. So not to harp on it, but still surprised that, especially on the San Antonio side, for Coach Jamoso, with all the firepower he has on the bench, understanding they played midweek, yes, but it's rare for coaches to make a sub or two right out of the gates at halftime. Well, give it away here. Can Monterey Bay make something of this? Going for a goal, saved by Nemani. Upset on this near side, and he didn't receive the pass from Ivanovic. Was John Klein. He was wide open.
A good reaction from Ivanovic. Seems as if he didn't place his body the correct way to put more power behind that ball.
Just finishing that thought before that giveaway from San Antonio. It's rare for coaches, you know this, Chelsea, to make a sub or two right out of the gates at halftime unless it's pre-planned to save some minutes for a player or it's injury related. Coaches only tend to make subs right at halftime to make a statement, and it felt like that first half was a first half that San Antonio needed to make a statement after, given all the guys they do have available.
But I really do think it's strategy. I mean, Jamosa has been a coach for quite some time. He was also a coach in the MLS, part of the USA team as well. He knows how to coach a team. So I'm assuming it's because he wants to give these players a chance to play, to show.
Yeah, that includes two 16-year-olds too.
Exactly, because he knows that if they lose, regardless, there's no way this team is going to be bumped down to out of the playoffs.
And that is one thing I think they could start feeling a little safe. Maybe not too safe. They're 5 points ahead of Monterey Bay, but they do have 2 games in hand on Monterey Bay. I think the teams that San Antonio are a bit more concerned with are Colorado Springs and possibly the Oakland Roots. Mainly Colorado Springs, the reigning champions. 24 points through 20 matches. San Antonio 29 points through 20 matches as we look at the live table. So with 10 games to play, the lead will only be 5 points in terms of their safety net. A lot can and will change. So to your point, it would take a lot for San Antonio to fall out of the playoff spots entirely. Although you could flip that on its head and say, here you are against probably the team that is in the worst spell of form in all of USL Championship outside of Vegas. It's Monterey Bay, so it's also a terrific opportunity for San Antonio to pick up 3 points on the flip side of that, where you can maybe be more aggressive, but perhaps we'll see those changes from Jamoso in short order in the second half.
It's an easy way to pick up those 3 points, but we also want to consider that they're playing at home their next 2 matches. So that's when they're going to want to play their starters and win those games. He already knows that even if they lose this match, they're still in the playoff spot. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely. Especially, again, knowing what they have on the bench tonight, maybe they do just turn it up in the last 15, 20 minutes. In the meantime, Medranda, an awkward header back. Namani there to help him out. Inching toward the hour mark, and San Antonio have still not registered a shot. Not a shot on target, a shot in general for San Antonio. 4 shots, 3 on target on the other side for Monterey Bay. Shannon Gomez, a player they've recently gotten back from injury, been in and out of the lineup health-wise. Made his season debut in a start back on July 12th, then missed some time again and subbed in last game against Lexington. Gomez, a national teamer for Trinidad and Tobago. It's good to have him back in the 11, further strengthening this back line. Tainter stepping up off this back line, carrying. Rotia centering. No trouble for Soyberg. Dangerous ball out of the back. Gomez wins it back for San Antonio. Medranda. San Antonio never lost against Monterey Bay. 5-0-1 in USL Championship play.
Monterey is really starting to move the ball around and gain a bit more of confidence than the first half. They're actually giving service to their forwards, where we didn't see much of that in the first half.
Split ball through for Agudelo, who's dropping in a lot deeper now to try and find this game. You want him up top as your 9. It's been that kind of night where the ball hasn't found him, so he drops in to just get a couple touches on. Gomez Sneaks it through. Something could be on here. Shannon Gomez stumbled a bit over the ball.
A great control by Gomez. And now he exposed Monterey that when he cuts in, they get lost in that transition trying to defend. So he needs to do more of exactly what he just did, cutting inside with speed and taking that shot. Or even looking for that linking pass.
Pacheco, if you remember, was given a final warning in that first half as his foul tally was adding up. Guess he got a little bit of a cooling off period from Eligio Araguin at halftime. My mistake, they actually ended up giving the throw, but he had some words with him for that contact after the play. Tainter. Lofted over the top. Run coming in, awkwardly read, loose in front. Campuzano made a mess of that, the goalkeeper. Could have been a gift there for San Antonio, and I do believe that'll go down as the first shot of the night for San Antonio. It comes from Urrutia, one of the 16-year-olds.
Great attack in the second post for Urrutia. I mean, it seems as if he went in a bit fearful. If he would have held his run a little bit longer, he would have met that moving ball. Just miscalculated it.
Well, that right there as he fell to ground will go down as the first shot for San Antonio, so they're on the board. 59 minutes for their first shot of the match. Now approaching the hour mark, will these coaches go to the benches and try to wake up what has been a dormant game so far? To be careful there if you're Revelar. That foul from behind, he's on a yellow already. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Campuzano. Clearing, put into an awkward position by Moby Fair.
And those are situations that you should never really put your goalkeeper in. I mean, you pass that ball to your goalkeeper, automatically your mindset should shift, opening up for him for that second ball in case it goes wrong.
First couple of changes coming for Monterey Bay momentarily. It's just announced here this weekend that Monterey Bay have acquired Tariq Scott on loan from FC Dallas. And he's going to make his team debut coming on momentarily, Tariq Scott. 20-year-old attacking player, hoping he can provide a spark. Maybe it comes here, though. Shot from distance. Loose in front. Oh, it's just fought off by Namani, but left a terrible rebound. Fortunate for San Antonio, there was nobody there. And here come the two changes. It'll be Elijah Paul coming on. He'll be replacing Anton Soyberg. And then it'll be Revelar being replaced by Tariq Scott. Substitutions brought to you by BBSI.
Now entering the match, number 20, Elijah Paul. And making additions
Tariq Scott from Brooklyn, New York, spent a handful of appearances this year in MLS. Wasn't quite getting the minutes he was hoping for from FC Dallas, so on loan now. What a turn that is, but the offside flag comes up.
What a great turn. Now you're starting to see this Monterey side pick up that confidence, try to get into that final third. We haven't seen much from the San Antonio side. They've been pretty static.
They just don't hold the flag for only a couple seconds. Maybe they could have a talk about that.
Now when will San Antonio counter with a couple of changes of their own, knowing all the key pieces they do have available on the bench? That's the question. Work back. Shannon Gomez can get a service in, put a dangerous ball in, punched away by Campuzano.
What a dangerous ball by San Antonio. We haven't seen a ball like that this whole match. And this is the glimpse of brilliance that we should be seeing more of from a top contender team.
Warm-up's beginning to become a bit more rigorous down in the corner for San Antonio. Feels like those changes might be imminent. Guzman.
Can tell that Guzman is getting a bit frustrated with his midfield because there's no movement.
Shawahi all the way back for Namani. Pressure closing in for Monterey Bay here. Danger put into an awkward position.
What a dangerous ball from San Antonio. You never want to do that, especially in your six. With no goalkeeper in goal.
Still feels like if there's a goal in this game, it's either
might
something
be luck.
brilliant or a mistake in a case like that. It's one or the other. Just hasn't felt like the game where it's going to be beautiful football, stringing 3-4 passes together in the box and finding that tap in, right? It just doesn't seem like these two teams are up for that tonight, but it's the mark of teams that are contenders and teams that are playoff caliber, is just finding a way on a night like this, whatever it takes. Maybe it comes here on the corner for San Antonio. It's their first corner of the night.
Has to be very strategic on where he places that ball. Not getting much chances, and this is a close chance.
I don't know if that's where he wanted it. Mitch Tainter tracks it down and lets it out. I don't know why, though. He must have thought it taken a deflection, but he lets it out, and it's a throw for Monterey Bay.
From the looks of it, he did think.
From our vantage point, it didn't look like it ever was touched. He had clearly a different vantage point. Nice give and go. Something on here, edge of the area. Shout for handball there as he went to ground defending that. It'll be a corner, but Guzman may be fortunate. That one looked like it could have been a point to the spot from Eligio Araguin.
A great combination play by the San Antonio side, and now we're seeing little glimpses of brilliance of what they have to offer. Now, if we can just be a bit more consistent with that and get the ball in the back of the net.
Medranda. And it's a foul against San Antonio. Approaching the 70th minute. They've still yet to make any changes, San Antonio. 2 have been made by Monterey Bay, bringing on Elijah Paul and Tariq Scott, who's making his club debut. Fans still into it in the supporter section, waiting for something to erupt about. Elijah Paul wins a corner. Bagel corner kick here in the 68th minute. First of the second half here for Monterey Bay.
Fans, I need you to get loud! Bagel corner!
Will be fair, driven ball near post. Glanced on, appeared by a San Antonio defender. It's out for a throw for Monterey Bay, right next to the corner flag. Tariq Scott could be a big-time difference maker for them here down the stretch, but it's starting to get late very quickly for Monterey Bay. Whipped in again, dangerous ball, the header! That's a foul against Elijah Paul.
Quick excitement. I really thought that flick was going to go in. Great service. Elijah Paul placed himself perfectly in front of the defender for that quick flick. And that's what we need to see more of.
A late shove at the end of that by Elijah Paul. Stern warning from a referee. No need for that. Change finally coming for San Antonio. Told it is going to be Leo Urrutia coming off for Jake LaCava. Provide a big spark in the attacking half of the field for San Antonio. Godello, the guilty party here. And here comes that change. Urrutia off, Jake LaCava on. Only 1 goal, 1 assist this year for Jake LaCava. It's been a down and disappointing year. Last year at Charleston never really got going. Jake LaCava joining mid-season with San Antonio back in June last year. So he had an uneven start at Charleston, joined midway in a lost year for San Antonio. Thought this year you might see a return to the success he had at Tampa Bay in 2022 and 2023. But it hasn't played out that way for Jake LaCava. Tonight's that perfect night, though. Player of his individual quality to shake this game, wake it up a bit, and be that spark for San Antonio.
It was all smiles, and you saw from the coaching staff when Urrutia stepped out. You can tell that the coaching staff putting a 16-year-old in, they just wanted to give him minutes. They wanted to give him that experience. Hopefully now with the sub, things are going to shake up a bit more, and we're seeing a little bit more dynamic, and it's only been 10 seconds.
Dangerous challenge from Gadiri. He's going to pick up a yellow. Tell you what, though, it looked to the naked eye like one of those where you weren't sure what color the card would be. Let's see if on closer look on replay it confirms that or makes it murkier. It's a yellow for sure.
It's a yellow for sure. But I don't think his intentions, his intentions weren't to put his studs up.
Yeah, the studs definitely came up. He didn't, fortunately for him, make contact with them, though. Contact came with the knee. The yellow is shown. So Gadiri joins Joel Garcia, both outside backs right now for Monterey Bay on yellows. Lucio Baron and Alexi Sawahi, the yellows still for San Antonio. It is Baron, though, who's down here.
All right, fans, Monterey Bay FC will be back in action Saturday, September 13th at 7 p.m. as they take on Hartford Athletic FC.
If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. That includes USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you get live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Sami Gadiri upset because after 74 minutes, he was finally told to remove a bracelet from the right wrist, and I suppose his argument is a valid one. Why did you want it after 74 minutes and not in minute 1? Perhaps the referee just noticed it. A wry smile on the face of Gadiri. Just the 2 subs made by Monterey Bay, the 1 by San Antonio. It's a little more understandable for Monterey Bay. They really only had 3 impactful attacking players on the bench on a night where they really are desperate for 3 points at home, given the situation in the standings. If this finished 0-0, in some ways it would feel like a loss for Monterey Bay. Given their recent form, given the nature of the standings, 1 point doesn't cut it. For San Antonio, sure, it maybe wouldn't be their favorite result. It still would be another match without a win, which they haven't had since July 12th. But a point on the road for a team in their situation higher up the table is okay, especially given their midweek in Jägermeister Cup, the heavy roster rotation. There's more context at the situation tonight for San Antonio, who still do have 10 games remaining after tonight. Monterey Bay 8, so running out of chances, Monterey Bay. So if there's one team in the last 15 minutes that you expect to open up and be a bit more desperate, it would have to be Monterey Bay at home in their situation. Glad to have you with us here in the late stages on Golazo Network with Chelsea Cabarcas. I'm Joe Malfa. Still 0-0. Better chances have gone Monterey Bay's way, but they've gone quiet over the last 15 minutes again.
I mean, you can also tell Monterey has a bit more of desperation to win. They're playing a lot more physical. They're trying to get up. It's just the only thing is that they don't have that creative outlet, that person to turn around and take control in the midfield, play those diagonal balls, or even those short 1-2 balls.
Agudelo picks up the yellow here. He'll be 33 in November, Juan Agudelo.
Yellow card is issued in 76 minutes. San Antonio FC's number 17, Juan Agudelo.
All the way back in 2010, now 15 years ago that he burst onto the scene with the New York Red Bulls at the age of 18. 6 goals in that age 18 season. He's been around the block, MLS, England with Stoke. Now the last 4 years spent here in USL Championship, 2 Birmingham and 2 San Antonio. Whipped in from Fair. Amani has a read on it. A lot of traffic though in front. He couldn't gather it, and he was fouled.
A great service by Fair. Those balls that are dropped into the box are dangerous.
Oh, we have our answer here. San Antonio is now finally going to open up and go for this a bit with 13 minutes to go. About to see a switch of both outside backs, Harvey Neville to replace Jimmy Medranda, and Reese Buckmaster to replace Shannon Gomez. But the big one coming up top. We highlighted him top of the broadcast. Santiago Patino making his return to San Antonio. He is going to sub on for Juan Agudelo. Patino was back in San Antonio this past weekend as they honored their team of the decade, celebrating a decade as a club, honoring their best 11 for the last decade. He was a part of that, and in this celebration, in front of a frenzied crowd, they announced his return, signing a multi-year deal. His time away, going abroad to Vietnam and to Sudan did not quite work out the way he intended. Coming back to a place that he's called home on 2 previous occasions. 18 goals and 39 appearances for San Antonio. The winner of the final MVP in 2022 when they beat Louisville and lifted the trophy. And now he makes his return. He'll replace Agudelo, and again it's Buckmaster and Neville for Medranda and Gomez. 2 attacking-minded outside backs, getting fresh legs there, getting fresh legs up top with a player of Patino's quality.
And this is exactly what they need, their fullbacks, because a lot of San Antonio's success has been from their fullbacks, have been from the service of Neville when he attacks that line, cuts in, and he has a great cross.
All subs brought to you by BBSI. Be too little too late for San Antonio on those subs, or can they find a spark late on?
I'm excited to see Patino play because this is a club that he feels at home. And when a player feels at home, they have a lot more sense of confidence to do a little bit extra with the ball.
Tariq Scott trying to center it for Elijah Paul. It's a big final 10 minutes plus stoppage here for San Antonio. If they can find a win against a reeling Monterey Bay side, foul called against San Antonio. If they could find a win, they would join a 3-way tie on 31 points with Sacramento and El Paso for second place behind FC Tulsa. We'll have to go through the tiebreakers to see exactly how that would be sorted out. Sacramento, El Paso, San Antonio, as far as who exactly would end the night in second place. All 3 would be tied on 31 points through 20 games. Top 4 teams in each conference get a home playoff game in the opening round. And with Lexington's win, let's not lose sleep on that. With Lexington's win earlier over Oakland, it's 3 straight wins, 9 points out of 9 for Lexington. And if this result holds, this 0-0 draw, Lexington will only be a point behind San Antonio for that last home playoff game spot. So San Antonio do have some pressure from behind them in the standings now for the first time in a while. This recent slump they've hit 0-2-1 over the last few weeks, picking up just 1 out of 9 points, while Lexington have picked up 9 out of 9. And that gap is just 1. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, free to play. Download now. Jake LaCava. Mohamed Omar. Over to Landry Walker, who's taken more of a wide position now for San Antonio. Pushing Harvey Neville further up the field, actually. Neville flicks it on. Patino chasing, he'll leave it instead. Monterey Bay looking for their own late spark. They're about to bring on Mael Malongo. 4 goals this season. They'll be replacing John Klein when the sub is allowed. The end line looking for LaCava, muscled off the ball. Well done defensively by Sammy Gadiri. And here comes that change of Malongo for Klein. Really didn't do much tonight, Klein. Really wasn't afforded many opportunities to do much. No service really came his way in the attack. Sub brought to you by BBSI.
We're really starting to see the fatigue settle in on both teams. They were already static at the beginning of this match, but now it's just becoming obvious that they're tired.
Maybe that does bode well, though, for San Antonio. They've reserved more of their subs for late, just making that triple change a few minutes ago. Meanwhile, Monterey Bay made their first few changes a longer while ago, around the 60-minute mark.
On both teams, defensively, they're getting to the ball late, being a bit more reactive rather than proactive and getting in those spots that they need to get to. Or even in the counterattack, you have to have energy to have that explosion, to explode into space, to receive a ball and possibly send in that diagonal or look for that pocket of space.
Another bagel corner kick, though, and any of these now could be the one to give the 3 points to Monterey Bay. They've had 6 of these tonight. Whipped in, better service this time. Paul couldn't steer it on frame. Ivanovic. Gadiri swinging a dangerous ball in. Nobody rises for it, though. Ivanovic on the season, 4 goals. Trying to get him more involved here late on. Flicked on toward goal, but off frame. He shook free Elijah Paul.
Elijah Paul is the only player that has been putting himself in those dangerous positions between the 2 center backs, trying to time that ball sent in to go ahead and just get a flick on it.
To go in the half. Stoppage beyond. I don't know if it'll be too much. It's been a pretty straightforward second half. Can't imagine it's more than 3 or 4 minutes the way the second half has gone. And that should be a card. And it will be. Baron is already on a yellow. He's walking away because he is headed for a shower. He knew it. It's tactical. There was no argument. So now it has a new wrinkle here with 4 minutes of stoppage to go. Monterey Bay will be up a man. Really unnecessary from Beron, especially on a yellow.
Extremely unnecessary from Beron because you have to think about the games that are coming after this, that your team needs you. This is when your soccer IQ comes into play and you have to choose your battles. I love the physicality. I love the mentality that he didn't want to let him get past. But sometimes this is when the second defender comes into play.
Ensuing free kick, nothing comes of it. So he'll miss their match next week on the road against Detroit City. Space here for Peace Galloway. Galloway, driven ball in, flicked away by Sawahi.
This is a perfect moment for Monterey to get a goal in. Move the ball around quick, find those open spaces, find that player. Let the ball do the movement.
And if you're San Antonio, visions of a late winning goal here on the road might have evaporated with that. As now down a man, you're looking to just defend this one out securely and salvage a draw. Another sub coming for San Antonio. We'll replace Diogo Pacheco with Almir Soto.
Luckily that even in their worst performance, they've still maintained a 0-0 score.
For them right now, and again, with the pressure being applied to them by Lexington because of Lexington's 3-game winning streak, every point crucial still for San Antonio. As much as, and we talked a bit earlier about it, as much as they probably looked at this game as an opportunity for 3 points on the road against a team struggling so mightily, still, to at least have a point on a night where you rotated because of your midweek Jägermeister Cup game last week. Point not the worst thing, and here is that sub. Pacheco out, Soto on. Subs brought to you by BBSI.
Seems like there's some blood on his hands.
Pouring from that right knuckle as he comes off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monterey Bay FC would like to thank all our teachers, staff, school officials.
Perfect example on how physical this game has been.
Back to school night. Have a great school year, everyone. And kids, be on your best behavior, okay? Your teachers will thank you for it.
.90 seconds remaining in the 90 minutes, plus whatever we have in store for stoppage. To be quite frank, this has felt like a 0-0 draw since about the 30th minute, and we are close to completing that. Is there any heroics on either side in the late stages, especially now with Monterey Bay up a man? I think maybe the most disappointing thing about this evening, Chelsea, is the fact that we haven't seen Monterey Bay display the urgency and desperation requisite of their situation here, as this one is just carelessly sent out for a corner kick. But for a team that's sitting near the bottom of the West, running out of opportunities because, again, they played more games than most teams, only 8 remaining. Most other teams have 10 remaining. Now up a man, urgency, 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 a home game, a must-win game, really, in many respects for Monterey Bay. They've never really come out of that shell.
I think that's the most frustrating part about watching this game, is that you see a team that is low on the table and they should have some sense of urgency, and you think, okay, how can they improve? In halftime, the coaches talk, but it really isn't about the coach or what the coach says. It's really just about the mentality and what these guys have in them.
Now from the corner, Neville. It's a foul before they even had a chance. 5 minutes to stoppage tacked on. In the meantime, a substitution. Chavignolati will replace Moby Fair. Five more minutes for Monterey Bay up a man to try and find a vital goal. Even so, if they do find the goal, they would end the night below the playoff line, but it would go from 3 points behind Orange County to just 1 point behind Orange County. But again, you run into the issues of the matches played, and the math starts not mathing for Monterey Bay. They would be on 26 points if they find a late winner here. The two teams above them, New Mexico and Orange County, both on 27 points, so you could look at it as, sure, they're only 1 point behind Monterey Bay, but New Mexico and Orange County have both played 3 fewer matches than Monterey Bay. On a points per game basis, they are a long ways away from a playoff spot, even though the standings currently show them just 3 points back. And that's why this is so vital here. I don't know that they've displayed the urgency that is up to that task, as some fans are already filing out.
the most part, Monterey has had possession for the second half. They did come out stronger, but not good enough.
Could still be something on here. Malongo going for goal deflected, but it's right at Namani, who can take some more precious seconds off now. Very clear, being a man down, especially San Antonio, they're the ones who are trying to milk this clock now and just take a point away from this. They don't really care, it seems. And again, given their situation, they've earned that right to be able to sort of just come on the road and accept the point tonight. Even though, again, there's more pressure from behind them. Not only Lexington that have closed the gap to 1 point, but Phoenix right now, the 3-1 lead on Colorado Springs. They're also within just a point of San Antonio. At one point seemed like having a home playoff game was a foregone conclusion for the San Antonio side. Now not so much. They are just 2 points clear of 8th place Orange County and 1 point clear of the two teams hot on their heels in Lexington and Phoenix. San Antonio do have a game in hand on both Lexington and Phoenix, but New Mexico and Orange County each have a game in hand on San Antonio. There's Monterey Bay, again, right at the playoff line, but looks can be deceiving. 3 points back. Both those teams above them have played three fewer matches after tonight. So you expect that gap to just widen. And meanwhile, the teams behind them, Colorado Springs on the same number of points, 2 fewer games. Oakland, 3 points behind, 2 fewer games. Starting to look very bleak. Monterey Bay's once promising playoff hopes after the rip-roaring start they had to the season, flying out of the gates, top of the Western Conference table for the first month of the season. And now they're going to have to defend a set piece here. I could see them even lose the 1 point they've had a grip on all night.
You can see the frustration in everyone's face on both teams. At this point, they just want the game to be over so that they can get together and regroup.
Time they've taken to get this free kick back into play, it may well turn out to be the final play of the match here for San Antonio. Can they steal all 3 on the road? Neville, that's a good ball forward, the header toward goal. Tainer rose for it, hands on head as he retreats back. He knows that was a decent opportunity for a player of his caliber in the air. Monterey Bay went quickly. And there's the final whistle. It finishes 0-0. For Monterey Bay, in some ways may feel like a loss given their circumstances in the standings. For San Antonio, it's more palatable. Still sitting in 4th, a hard-earned point on the road. 0-0, it finishes.
Monterey came out stronger in the second half and tried to create chances, but the quality just wasn't there in the final third. This was an important game to pick up points, and they just really couldn't get it done. Overall, both teams looked very static to me.
Static and maybe frustrating was the operating word tonight for both these teams. It finishes as it started at 0-0. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from Cardinale Stadium.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
Mood pretty somber on the field from both these teams after this one. Again, acknowledging the situation for San Antonio, heavy rotation. They are maybe more content higher up the table, but I think reality may be starting to set in.
This is when you need to be proactive.
San Antonio still sitting in fourth in home playoff position. Monterey Bay in ninth. It's still very tight in the table here, Chelsea, but time is starting to slip away for Monterey Bay.
Still very tight in the table, and I think this is the tightest we've ever seen the Western Conference. It's a lot tighter than the Eastern. Monterey sits in ninth. They could have had this game. They needed to get that point. San Antonio still sits in fourth.
San Antonio at Detroit City next week. Monterey Bay take on one of their local Bay rivals in the Oakland Roots. Kelpie was having a good time tonight, but there was more activity, I think, in that mascot race at halftime than we saw at times throughout the 90 minutes. Finishes 0-0 on a frustrating night for both Monterey Bay and San Antonio. For the crew that makes this possible, our broadcast partner, Chelsea Kabatakas, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. A good weekend of action in the USL Championship. This one finishes 0-0 tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.